So my name's Denby Grace. I'm the producer of Mafia 2, working at 2K Games. For the first time at Gamescom, we're actually showing the open world of Mafia 2, this big, sprawling city called Empire Bay. It's the first time we're showing it. We're really excited to show some of the sort of inner mechanics and systems, some shops, the police system, and really get into some depth on some of the things that I know our fans and the press have sort of been asking for quite a while. The player character is a guy called Vito Scaletta. And where we start out in 1946, it's like Vito's a sort of low-level associate of the Mafia. And then as we progress through, the game spans 10 years of Vito's life and his rise up through the ranks of the Mafia to sort of made man and then sort of beyond that. One of the things that we're really interested to do is we show that the Mafia just isn't as glamorous as maybe all people want. Basically, we don't ask the player to go out all guns blazing. We ask the player to behave believably as a sort of mafiosi guys. Obviously, sometimes that calls for combat when they're asked to perform a hit or something like that. But at the same time, your life's made easier if you don't do these things, you know, because the police system is pretty aggressive in Mafia 2. So we give the player some different tools, different mechanics for them to actually use. For instance, the stealth mechanic is something that we've shown today. The stealth mechanic is very simplistic, it's not overly complex, it's a very sort of intuitive system. And one of the things that we do allow the player to do is you can get vehicles. We want to create some sort of vehicular ownership. You know, vehicles in other open world games, they're very sort of disposable items. And we really wanted to sort of advance on that, sort of allow the players some sort of investment in their vehicles. They've got this personal garage where they can store their vehicles. As well as that, if they're in the Mafia, you know, as you get up the ranks of the Mafia, it doesn't seem right that a capo of the Mafia goes around sort of like picking locks and stealing vehicles, you know. They can get whatever they want, whenever they want it. So it doesn't make any sense to do that for the fiction. So the player sort of maybe gets the vehicle earlier on, and you're given some opportunities to get some really nice cars, and then you can legalise it. You change the plates, customise the plates, change the paint job, or invest some money in these things. These things aren't cheap though. It's not like the player's going to do it in mission 1 and that's it. They're going to have to save their money throughout the game. Like, money's something that we're really controlling quite tightly, you know. We don't want the player just ending up with like $1 million and that's it, you know. Again, it's like, if I had $1 million, why would I be doing this stuff? I've got $1 million. So you're a guy who's constantly going through earning money, you know. This is what the Mafia is all about, is earning money, essentially. So you invest your money in your car over time, and then you get some personal attachment to your car. So it's a really nice thing, you know. Again, you can steal vehicles when you want, like I say, but it's an aggressive police system, so they're going to hunt you down, they're going to get you if you start doing these things. What we're showing today is actually, we start up, we get up in the evening. Joe and Vito have had a fun day, I guess, with some hookers in Empire Bay. They get up, Vito gets a call from Giuseppe, he's asked to go pick up some papers. Now, you go on the way there, he bumped into a guy called Steve. Now, Steve's a guy that we've worked for previously. He's like a henchman for the union boss, Derek Pappalardo. And Steve asks us to he's got a bit of a problem. He's willing to pay quite a high price to see Vito take out some cars that are in Millville. And we get in a few incidents along the way to sort of demonstrate some of the other mechanics. And then, predictably, things go horribly wrong, as it usually does for Vito, and the police arrive, and then it turns into a big, epic police chase, which is a good chance for us to show a lot of the city, some nice cars and stuff like that. One thing that we did differently is we wanted to sort of behave like a realistic system from the 40s and the 50s. So they don't have no like really advanced tracking features. They don't have no eye-in-the-sky helicopter, no police database or anything like that. So basically, when the cops sort of get your physical description, if you're doing a low-level crime, for instance, like speeding or holding a weapon on the street or punching someone in the face, say, that's a low-level crime. You know, the cops are going to be alerted. A cop will call in your physical description to the rest of the sort of Empire Bay Police Department. Now, because our system works very much on a line-of-sight basis, if you run down the street, jump over a fence, and the cop doesn't see you jump over that fence, you've lost him immediately. You're still wanted by the whole police system, so if another cop comes up to you and gets close enough to you to recognise you, then you become wanted again. One of the things we're doing is, obviously you've seen the cutscenes, the VO direction and stuff like that. It's done out in Hollywood, in Santa Monica. Has been recorded over the last 9 months. It's taken a long, long time. The guy who's directing it for us, Jack Scalici, he actually directs and has the actors come in on an 8-person sort of soundstage, so they act scenes together. Whereas previously in video games, when you did it of old, it was like one person come in, I'm going to read all my lines, then the next person comes in and read. So, as I mentioned earlier, our story's a buddy story, so having these two guys, whenever we record them, having them together, and the sort of banter back between the two of them is great, and it really, really works, and it helps raise the bar up the next level. Other stuff we're doing is obviously the cutscenes that you're seeing. We have this amazing cutscene direction tool. It allows us to sort of play these It allows us to sort of create these scenes in the engine and then set up, like we could set up 100 cameras in a scene and then just film it from any different way and we use a lot of mocap obviously and stuff like that. And as well as that, the top layer I think that we're adding is the musical score. It's sort of not finalised right now, but we're looking at a 100 track plus musical score from the 40s and 50s, all sort of authentic period stuff that you'd definitely recognise. I think the trailers is sort of a good example of where we're looking for this. As well as that, we have a big orchestral score, so we get that sort of big epic feel that you'd expect from these movies. We've got something like 90 minutes plus of orchestral score, and that's going to be recorded by the Czech Philharmonic as well. So Death and Arrest is handled a little bit different to other open world games. Basically, if you die or you're arrested, that's a game over scenario. You're taken back to your last checkpoint. Now, the checkpoint system's quite sensible. You know what I mean? It's where you'd expect it to be. We don't want to ask the player to do long, laborious sections again and again and again, but we still want to keep the challenge of the mission. The whole idea is that by the time you've got to the end of the mission, Vito won't have died 30 times and gone to jail 30 times. It's like, no, he did this in one coherent sort of thing. So the engine we're using is a complete proprietary engine that 2K Czech have created over the last 3 to 4 years. It uses a few plugins such as NVIDIA PhysX and FaceFX, but apart from that, it's all Czechs. We had a real couple of really big high-level goals for the game, which was to be able to deliver these great interior environments and this huge open world seamlessly. You know, you can go between these environments completely streamed. The player sees no loading whatsoever once they've loaded into the game. And the interior environments, if you've seen today, they have this great destructibility, this enormous amount of detail. You know, they're really more sort of on a parallel with a third-person shooter than they are an open world game. Really, I think we stand a step above all the other open world games on the level of detail, the quality of the textures and things like that. And that was really high-level goal. The other big sort of technical achievement we've made is this cutscene tool that we use to edit these cutscenes and create these cutscenes. You know, it allows our team, it's almost like 2.5 hours worth of these cutscenes in the game. It really allows our team to sort of deliver to this high quality. So yeah, the technology, it's been a huge undertaking. You know, it's completely platform agnostic as well. That's the other biggest thing. We want the experience, whether you're playing on the PS3, the PC or the 360, to be completely the same. You know, it's been the biggest challenge on this project, but now we're kind of there, and you're seeing for yourself like the quality that we can deliver now. We're really excited about what gamers are going to experience. So it's Mafia 2. It's coming on PS3, PC and 360, and it's going to ship early 2010.